Okay, so I've gone around one time already, and I've got nothing but raw edges on my fabric. This is more trouble than it's worth, and you're not going to get an even. It's very difficult to get an even hem with this. But I'm going to go ahead and do it the second time around, and since it's going to be a curled bottom with the fishing line, the fact that this is so uneven at the top is not going to mean much anyway. So I'm going to lift my machine up, and since I've already done this whole thing once, I'm just going to tuck my rolled hem into the machine. And then I'm going to encourage it to, by rolling my fabric with my fingers, I'm going to encourage it to roll the way it's supposed to roll originally. Now, if you're going to use chiffon fabric or some very light sheer, this will probably work fine and roll completely accurate the first time around. So we're talking cotton and a linen, and this is just, this is like see-through cotton. So it's just not something I'm probably going to be using on a regular basis, not for hemming anyway. For the fishing wire, yes, if I do a lot of the fishing wire dresses, which I won't be doing. A lot of closet space on that. Okay, let's see how we're doing. Alright, now I'm finally getting a, what happened here? Oh, that was the one I originally started. Oh, that was just my beginning stitch, got stuck in there. Okay, so anyway, you get the idea. Now I've got no raw edge here. It's been tucked twice, so it's at least finished off. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and then I'll come back and I'll do the, I'm going to put the fish line in the bottom before I put my elastic thread in the bobbin case. Okay, I'll be back in a little bit. Okay, I've run it through twice, and I've really, I don't know if you can see this or not. I'm going to get it as close as I can. This is terrible. You can see how poor this has been sewn. First time I tried to do it, and I didn't catch the seam, so I ran it through twice. There's only one seam in the front, and there's two in the back. And you can still see exactly where that first seam didn't get tucked under correctly. So, and here is where I did my start and my finish, and that is a complete mess. So, and here, who would want this on their dress? Nobody would. So, as far as hemming fabric, I would have to give that, hemmer foot not a very good rating. I wouldn't use it. I won't be using it for hemming. But if you can do it and do a better job than I did, because it really doesn't look bad from the front. So if I had white thread in there, or not a contrasting thread, you'd probably be okay with it. But if you're going to have some kind of fabric like this that is going to fray, I'd have to say no. There's a no-go on that hemmer. And it takes too much time. I could have put a nice hem in here in probably half the time it took me to run this fabric through the machine twice. Okay, so when I come back, I'm going to do the fish line in the bottom. Okay. Okay, I found my coil. Now I'm going to attempt to sew my coil into the bottom of this piece of fabric. I hope I have better luck with this coil than I did with the rolled hem on the top. Okay, so here goes. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start where the seam is, why not? So I'm going to turn my fabric in eighth of an inch and then another eighth of an inch, and I'm going to tuck it under my machine. Okay, I'm going to put a couple stitches in it. I'm on zigzag, regular zigzag stitch. It's okay, there we go. Okay, so like I said in the beginning, I left myself a little tail here so that I can get it in through that little slot and out the back side easily. Okay, so I'm going to pick up my fabric and I'm going to slide it into my machine. Turn my pressure foot back down again. And I'm going to take my coil and I'm going to go between my two layers of fabric into that hole in the excuse me, in the foot, in the hammer foot. You can't see this, but my cord wants to pop back up, so I'm going to push it all the way through so it comes out the other side, so I can grab a hold of it. Okay, it's in there far enough. I'll let the machine bring it out the back. Okay, so back down again. I'm going to put my fabric over the top of my coil. I'm going to stretch my coil a little bit so I can get some fabric over the top of it, and I'm going to start to sew. Stretch my coil out, add some more fabric across the top, and keep sewing. Okay, I'm going to widen my zigzag because I'm not getting a wide enough stitch under there. So let me put this over the top, get some fabric over it. Yeah, I'm not even catching the fishing line, so I'm going to go wider. Okay, let's try this. I've lost my fabric. Okay, you can see that this is not easily done. Okay. Now I can't get my fabric up over the top because my fishing line's in the way. Okay, let me just try sewing it on. Yeah, I got a feeling this is lesson in futility, but let's give it another try. I got an error message. Okay. My machine doesn't like this either. Okay, so let me go back to my zigzag. Okay, go a little wider. Let's see if I can get this party started. Okay, let's go back to square one. Oh, nope, it's in there. That wire is in there. So all I gotta do is get that fabric back up into that hole. Okay. At this point, I'd probably give up and say it's not going to work, but I'm going to try one more time. So let me clean up this mess I've made, and I'll get back to you. Okay, first attempt didn't work, so I've taken all my stitches out, and I'm going to try test number 2. I'm kind of thinking that because this fabric is so thin, but that shouldn't have anything to do with it. So since I've put some damage on this side, I'm going to start over on the opposite side and hope for the best. So I've got my machine back to my zigzag. I'm going to do my fold again. I'm going to go past that seam right now just so I can get past it and I don't get caught up in it. So let's go ahead and put a couple zigzags in. Okay, so we've got that. Let me cut these off so they're out of the way. Okay, so I got my zigzag in. I've got my fabric. I'm going to load it up into my machine. Okay. It's in there. Let me do a couple stitches just to be on the safe side. Okay, it's in there. Alright. Here comes the coil. I'm going to go on the opposite side since I've cut off I had to cut off my other one to get it out of the machine. So here goes nothing. So I'm going to just sew over it this time and make sure that it goes underneath the pressure foot. Okay, it just went. Okay. Here we go again. Let's try it. This time I'm going to give myself a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch on the fabric and hope that might help me keep that fabric threaded through the... okay, here we go again. I'm going to go a little wider because I'm getting that clicking noise, so I'm thinking I might be hitting that fishing line, which is something I don't want to do with my needle. This is probably another point. I think I'm working with no, it's a regular needle. Okay, so let's just keep going and see if we have any success. Just make sure you keep that fabric up and over because that's the battle right there. Keeps wanting to pull away from the hemming, and it could be because of that fish line inside. Okay, I'm going to try a bigger stitch. See if my feeder feet will help me a little more. Oh, that's much easier. Okay, so I went to 1.8 on my stitch length. Okay, I'm losing my fabric again. Okay. And it seems like every time I turn that wire, that's why I get that problem. So I'm going to tuck here and push. Okay. Fabric. Pull. Okay, I'm getting a pretty good rhythm, and my fabric is staying put, so I I think I needed to have more pressure on my coil to keep my coil as straight as possible. Okay, I think that's it. So keep your coil as straight as you possibly can. Keep your fabric covered over the coil. Make sure it stays in. You know, if you line your fabric up to the outside of the the left side of your hemmer foot, you might just have the right, no, you gotta have more than that. A little bit more. Okay, I have a long way to go. I haven't even gotten half through. So this is basically what it looks like at this point. I hope you can see it. I'll finish this up and then I'll get the camera close up so you can see a better picture of my problem is I've done all this whole thing and my fish line is over here. So I may have to take this out when I come back to get my fish line lined up with all this. It took me that long to get that fish line to here, to get it underneath, so that was not a good thing either. Okay, so I'm going to work on this and then I'm going to take the stitches out to this point and then I'll come back and show you what I'm doing.